In this video, I'm going to show you how you can transform a simple post page like this to something like this, where you have filters on the side that respond without reloading the page. You can select multiple filters at the same time. You can even search for locations like this, for example, Boston. And it has this accordion, which is not default. I've used a trick to achieve this, and that will hide certain filters under this button. This is nice because often you have important filters and less important filters, and you don't want to show everything. This works, of course, with custom post types and is all dynamic. This also means that this tutorial is not for beginners. But if you want to learn this, then you can follow all the videos in this playlist, because this is video number 4 in this playlist. First, I showed you guys why you should use Crocoblock and when. Then I explained the basics of dynamic content, and then we created this listing website that we have right here with different posts, in this example houses, and all of these houses have different data inside of it, and the user or your client can easily add new houses from the backend and fill in all the data from here, and those pages are automatically generated. But if you have a lot of posts, you want to be able to add filters. We're going to achieve this with Elementor Pro and Crocoblock. If this is all new to you, then I recommend watching this first video and all the software links that I use, for example Crocoblock and Elementor Pro, are of course on livingwithpixels.com/links, which will also be in the description. So let's just get started. In the last episode, we created the custom post type for our properties. So these are all posts with data inside of each post. For example, number fields like this, or a location field, or a text box. So we want to be able to filter based on the data that's inside of this post. But before we can do this, you have to determine what kind of filters you need. Because for example, with price, you want to be able to have a slider like this, which has a minimum and a maximum value. Maybe for something like this, you want a select box. And for your categories, you maybe want checkboxes. For your location, of course, you want a search field, and so on. So write on paper what kind of filters would be beneficial for the website you are creating. In this example, for real estate, these are the fields that I think are important. So once you've written down what kind of filters you want on the website, you want to go to Smart Filters, JetSmartFilters. It's one of the plugins of Crocoblock, which you can install over here. Again, if you don't know the basics about Crocoblock, go to this video, it will show you all the basics. I haven't found another plugin that can do the filters like this, so I recommend JetSmartFilters a lot, and it works in combination with JetEngine, which we use to create the custom post type. So let's go to our final and see what kind of filter we want to create. So first is the price type. We have 3 kind of pricing types. So inside of one of our posts, we have a yearly price, or a total price, or a monthly price for the house. So you want to be able to create a select filter. Let's just do that. So we're going to go back, go to Smart Filters and click on Add New. We're going to call this price type because it's a type of price. You can just copy this to over here. That's okay. The filter type over here is select because we want to be able to select the option. It's not hierarchical. And for the data source, we want to be able to display these 3 options over here. So as it says over here, price variation. So just copy this field over here, go back, select the data source, custom field, and the field that we need is this one, price variation, and then it's going to gather that data. You want to check this box over here because we want to gather the data from JetEngine and not ACF. Placeholder select, that is the default text that you can see in this field over here, so you can change that if you want. I'm going to just leave it like this. And then over here you also need to add this one over here. You can leave it like this and then click on publish. So now we have created one of the filters, which is this first one. Let's just first create a few filters because that's going to make our life a little bit easier instead of going back and forth all the time. So I'm going to add the price, property, and location, and they are different. The workflow is different. So let's just now go with the price. So the price inside of a post is also a number field, but the filter is different. So if you are in your filters again, we're going to now add a price filter. So we're just going to call this price. All right, make sure to copy this, paste it over here. Yes, the filter type is range, and with range you will get that slider, a minimum and a maximum value. Now the prefix is a $sign. Why? Well, because on our final filter you can see the $sign over here. the $ is not inside of our post because this is just a number. So here you can tell the plugin that you want a $ in front of the number, which is perfect. 1000 separator, just use comma or point, depending on if you're in Europe or America. I don't know how to do it in Asia, but you can choose the comma or the dot. And that's also true for the decimal separator. Number of decimals, of course, that's going to be the number of zeros after your comma or your point. But we're selling houses here, so we don't have that. Minimum value, you can leave that as it open. It looks like it's filled in, but it's actually empty. So that's not very clear. They should make it a little bit more gray. The steps, those are the steps that you see over here. Because on a house website, you don't want to take steps of $5, right? It doesn't make any sense. So maybe you want to make that bigger. So maybe start with 100 or 1000. For this website, I'm going to put it at 100. So the steps will be 100. And then here it says get minimum and maximum value dynamically. And those are the values that you can see over here. So by default, if it's turned off, those values will be generated from the post that has the lowest price and the post that has the highest price, which is super nice. So you can do that over here. Just pick get query from meta key. And that's it, that will do it. In the query, we need to go back to our post and see what this name is. It just says price, super easy. You can fill it in right here and then click on publish. So now we're halfway done with the filters. Now we're gonna create the third one, which is the checkboxes. This one is super easy, but you need to make sure that you have your taxonomy set up. So make sure inside of Jet Engine that you have taxonomies for your custom post type. Otherwise, it will display nothing. So here I've created a taxonomy for this custom post type. And inside of here, I have a few categories. And then the posts, so the properties, also have one of the checkboxes. So this is what you need to do in order to make this work. I will show you inside of the taxonomy real quick. What you can do is just create a taxonomy with a name. Make sure that it has the post type properties, because that is the custom post type. And then over here in advanced, make sure that hierarchical is on. So that makes it checkboxes inside of your posts. If you still don't know what I'm talking about, the checkboxes that you can see over here. All right, so that is where you create that. And when you have created that, you can select them from our new filter. So the new filter, let's just call it category. That's okay for now. We're gonna copy this, paste it over here. And now we're gonna do the checkboxes. This one is super easy. Just pick the checkboxes list over here to make sure this one is on taxonomy. But here you wanna make sure that it's not on categories, because this probably is for the normal post. You wanna make sure that you have the name that you named your taxonomy. So for me, this is property category, because what I just showed you in the taxonomies list, here you can see it, right? So we need that data. All right, if there is a hierarchy, you have a few settings over here. For this tutorial, we're gonna keep it easy. So for now, click on publish. We're almost done with the filter, guys. Now the last one that I want you to create is the location one, because in the last tutorial, as you know, inside of the post, we have created a text field. And for some magical reason, the text field understands location. So if you put in a location from Google Maps over here, you can also use that inside of your filter with the search filters. It's super cool. So what you need to do is create a new filter. And we're gonna call this search location. Make sure to copy it, paste it over here, and then pick the search one. All right, okay, this search is okay. And then put in the custom field. So what is that query variable? Well, go back to your post. Now you already know it's called location. So you can always find that inside of that field that you created. Paste it over here, like this. There are no more settings, so we're gonna click publish. And now we can go to the next step, which is creating the archive template. Because right now, we just have a normal properties page, like this. And yes, you can add filters to a normal page like this, but it's not ideal. Because in the future, you maybe want to link to specific pages for a category. Maybe you only want to send people to a page that only has the villas. So you will need an archive template for this. Otherwise, you need to create all of those pages manually, which is horrible, of course. Because if something changed, that's a lot of work. So you want to use the archive template. But if the archive template has the same title as your page, then it will create a conflict. So we need to change this name to, for example, wrong, because we're going to use the inside of it, but not the actual page. So I'm just called that wrong. Make sure you edit the slug, otherwise it will create a conflict. Also make sure that inside of your post type that the archive feature is actually enabled. So if you go to advanced, make sure that has archive is on. Otherwise it won't work because this post type now has an archive, which we're going to use. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the theme builder of Elementor because we're going to create an archive template for our properties, for all kinds of properties. So what I'm going to do is call it properties archive version 1. Create the template, and of course we're not going to create this whole page right now because we already created that. So why not use this page, right? So we can still open this page with Elementor and just reuse a lot of the elements. So for example, the header, like this. Let's just copy it to our archive page and make our life a little bit easier. Let's just also do that for our listing section. All right, let's just paste it over here. And now we need to add the filter on the left over here. So how are you going to do that? Well, we have one main column over here. We need another column because in the left column, so we can drag our new column over here, we want to add that filter. Maybe put this on 30%, for example. This looks very cramped, so make sure to, on your listing template, put this on 2. All right. And now we want to add the filters over here. So let's first add the type, then the price, property, and then location. Okay, so I'm going to add a background because otherwise we can't see our nice white design. All right, so I'm going to pick a background over here. I'm going to add a little bit of padding, otherwise I don't have a lot of air to breathe and I don't like that. So I'm going to a little bit of padding over here. Now we can add filters inside of this column. So if you type in filter and you have JetFilters installed, you have everything over here. The first one that we need is the select box. So drag in the select box and now you want to search for your select filter, which we called price type. All right. So now you can see that it has the price type and all the types that we want. Super cool, super cool. By the way, it can happen that you don't see your properties over here. What you need to do in order to make sure that you see that is go to the settings over here, go to preview and make sure this one is on properties archive. By the way, it was on post, so I don't know why I didn't see post, but let's just click on properties archive and now you're sure that it only shows your properties. So let's just add a simple heading over here so we know what we're doing. Price type. Gonna style this a little bit, really simple. All right, let's add our second filter, the price filter. So I'm gonna search for range filter, put it over here, search for price because we've created a range filter with price. And there we go. The data is already here. So 240 is the cheapest house and more than 1 million is the most expensive house. As you can see, there is no separator, so I should include that. Otherwise, it shows like this. But now this works. So I'm gonna copy my title. It just makes this price. Now add our next filter, which is the checkbox. So add the checkbox. What was the name? I think it was something with category. Yes. And there you go, the category is here. We're gonna add the last one and then see if it works. So filter, and now we need the search filter. So here we go, drag in the search filter and just search for location, search location. And there it is, super cool. And then over here, this filter is for Jet Engine. And then over here, if you don't want this button, make sure to change the AJAX from AJAX to AJAX on typing. All right, so then change this to 1, so it already starts with 1 character, or you can leave it at 3, doesn't really matter. Let's just add our titles. Let's add a little bit of padding, because otherwise I can't live with it. I'm gonna add 20 or 30 on all sides. Let's do 25, that looks all right. And now we can almost test it, but make sure that on every filter, you also apply this box. This filter is for Jet Engine, that's really important. Also on this one, make sure it's on Jet Engine, over here, Jet Engine, and over here, Jet Engine. And now let's test it. we can click on publish. And now we need to set up the conditions, because if you don't do this, then it applies to all posts, so also your blog, which is not what you want. So add conditions, all archives is default. Go to properties archive. That's our custom post type. Click on save, and now you tell Elementor that this template is going to be used only for your property, so your custom post type. Let's just check it out. Open with the eye over here, preview, and then let's test it. We see a lot of houses over here, and let's filter on the price. And as you can see, now it changes. Super cool. Let's test this one as well. Apartments works as well. Location, we have Detroit and we have Boston. Let's filter for Boston. Boston. And it works as well. Super cool. And now the last one, which is the price type, or actually it was the first one, monthly, and that works as well. Super cool what we have achieved in a few minutes. But we forgot a few things. It's not done yet. Let's go back to our Elementor page. And over here in your listing widget, this one, the listing grid widget, you see that the post number max is 6. We don't really want that. We want to display a lot of posts over here, right? And maybe even have more posts if the page is longer. So post number, maybe put that at 10. And then also put load more and infinity scroll on. So no matter how far you scroll, you will always get new posts. So I think I have 11 houses on this website. Let's check it out. I'm gonna scroll and see if a new house is added. And yes, so if you scroll, the 11th house will also be there, which is good. Now you also want to add a few things over here, because if you can see in our final, we have, if we select something, we have active filters over here and a remove filters button. That is pretty cool and handy, because if you have a lot of things selected, maybe also the price, you maybe want to delete one of the filters. So how you can do that is go over here, go back, scroll down to the filter section, and here it says remove filters. So let's just drag that in over here, remove the filters, select jet engine, Ajax, that is perfect. It says remove filters, that is okay. And now we want to also add the other one, which is the active tags. That is how it's called. So over here, it's actually really ugly, but you can style it, of course. You can also select jet engine, and you can turn off this label to make it a little bit nicer. I'm gonna quickly change the color for now. And as you can see inside of the style and tag item, you can add a background over here. So for example, this one, or on the final website, I had this one on blue and this one on white. I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna do the styling later, but I just wanted to show you that you can change that as well to make it look like tags. We're gonna click on update and see what happened on our page. So this page now reloads, and we're gonna click on apartments. And as you can see, active tags, category apartments. Or we're gonna add the price filter. And we're gonna add apartments. And now it both shows. As you can see, my design is not perfect right now. I've spent quite some time on this design. As you can see, I like it a lot. But let's see if it works. Remove filters, and it works, and the content loads in back to all the posts. So now you can style this. You can go into these widgets and go to the styling tab and see what you can change. There are some things though that you can't really change. Some things are super easy, like this select box. As you can see, you can easily put it at 100% and then it looks like this. You can change the color easily like this. In your checkboxes, you can easily change the color. So go to checkbox, background color, and give it the color that you want. You can delete the border. If you put this from none, which is actually weird because none means there's no border, but there is. Go to solid and then put 0 over here, and then you will have no border. And then if you put your item on white, it actually looks pretty nice. The colors of your slider, you can change that over here in the first tab. For example, make this bigger or smaller. Change the color of the dots. I think this looks pretty cool. For some reason there is a red styling on top of the remove button, which of course I'm gonna delete. Like, why is it even there? All right, the hover color, why? It doesn't even say it's a color, but okay, it's here. Okay, this looks already a lot better. These active tags, you can give it a border radius like this, a lot more padding. For buttons, always make sure that the top and bottom is the same, and also your left and right. Don't make it too intense. You can even change the position of your X, as you can see right here, which is pretty cool. And change that color to something that is more clear. So now this section already looks a lot better in terms of styling. So to check if this page works, if you click on preview, you're gonna go to a preview link, but we wanna see the real page. We wanna go to /properties to get it. So what you need to do is you need to go back to your post types and go to properties to see your custom post type. What I forgot to say here is that the link to the main archive page, so where all of your posts are, is the link of your website domain / the slug that you put in over here. So your website.com/properties in this example. In the previous episode, I had /property instead of t's over here. I just changed that when the camera was off because I was trying to test it, but it's very important if you change something over here that you also check this box, because then it will update all of the posts. I explain this because sometimes it happens that your client wants to change the link to all the posts. So here you can change the main link to all the posts. So right now the link for all of the posts are /properties and then /post name. Because in my previous episode, like I said, there was property over here, but I want /properties as the main link because that just looks nicer. So I just wanted to show that you can change the slug for all of your posts over here, but don't forget to check this update box. Then when you do that and you go back to your properties page, sometimes it happens that your single post can be found. And also on your properties pages as well, there's no data. And this is because it now has a new link. So what you want to do is you want to go back to your theme builder and go to your single post template. Just open that inside of Elementor, then go to conditions. And as you can see, it has been deleted because it has a new link. So you want to go back and make sure this is on properties. Just click on save. Let's go back to our properties list and see if it now works. Oh, this is also an old link, so I need to refresh it, click on properties, open a post, and then it still doesn't work. And that is because I forgot one thing, and that is inside of my post type, there's also this checkbox, rewrite with font. So if you click on that, click on update, go back to your properties overview, and now open it, this should work. And as you can see, it works. And now if we go to /properties, this also works. But it doesn't display our post. Why? Well, that is because the link also changed for our listing template. So if you want to go back to your archive template, click over here, click on edit. As you can see right here, the listing template is good, but the archive template is turned off. So you want to change this on. Make sure the settings are on properties archive like we did before. Click on apply. There it is in the preview. You want to make sure to go to the conditions and also put this on properties archive. Then click on save and close. Now we're going to go back to our new /properties link, and now this should work. It works, super nice. Okay, let's click on a few posts to see if that also works. As you can see, that works as well. That's super nice, but make sure if this doesn't work for you that you delete your cache or you purge this cache. This is a plugin by SiteGround itself, but you need a caching plugin, delete your cache, because WordPress sometimes saves an older version of a post and then it doesn't work. So make sure to delete your cache if you're gonna check these new settings and if you change a post type. And I thought that was an important step as well. It's super technical and it's not fancy, but sometimes you wanna change the link of all of your posts. So /properties, /post name, and this is how you do it properly. And another thing to make this work is that when you click on properties, you want to go to that properties page. But we right now have something wrong in the menu. So how you can change that, because this is not a page, is by the following. You want to go to your menus over here. And then we have the properties page over here. We want to delete that because that is not a properties archive page. Because as you can see over here, we have a properties tab. If you don't see that, go to screen options and make sure the properties over here is on, or the name of your custom post type, and then click on view all, and then here's the name properties. And this is all the properties with your post type archive, which is what you want. So let's click on save the menu and let's go back to our website. So now it's the last item in the menu. So then you can see that it's updated. Click on properties and now it's /properties and it displays our filter page, which is perfect. And now we have replaced that old page. So if you go back to your pages, we don't actually need this page anymore. So you can put it on private. You can even put it in the trash. And let's check our website. We're going to go back to our home page and we're going to go back to properties and it still works. You actually see how fast this is? Unbelievable. Wow, that's super. Also the single post, a little bit slower, but still pretty fast. Now for the people that want to go a step further, like I've done on my final website. Let me close a few tabs, by the way. This is getting crazy. Like I've done over here. So there are a few things that are different. First of all, the blue column is not the full height. So on my website right now, it's the full height. It doesn't look very pretty. And also you don't have these more filters available, which is what I want because I like this design a little bit more. And again, this is custom. Well, it's not custom coded, but it's not default. I've used a trick to make this happen, which I'm going to show you. So what you want to do is you want to add another filter because right now we don't have any more filters to work with. So I'm going to create one filter really quick. I am going to create a filter for the amount of bathrooms, just a range filter. So let me do that real quick. So now we have a new filter. So this nice little feature, you want to use a template. And I made this work with the accordion of Crocoblock. So let me show you how that works. So you want to go to templates and then saved templates. Don't go to the theme builder because we're going to use a section. So if you go to section over here, click on add new, we can create a section. We're going to call this extra filters section. Create template. So again, we're creating the template that we're going to load in that accordion. But before you're going to do anything here, what you want to do is actually go to your last one and just copy what you already had. That is much faster. So if you just copy the title like this and you paste it over here, and you also copy your range filter because we want a range filter. We want to paste that over here. Now for the title, we want bathrooms. And then for the slider, delete this and go to bathrooms filter. And then it shows 1, 2, 6. So we can click on publish and that's all we need to do for now. Now we want to go back over here, click on refresh. Now go down and search for accordion. But as you can see, we only have this one, which is the default by Elementor, but you can't load in a template from here. Also not the toggle, as you can see, there's no way to load in a template, which is what we want. So we want to install JetTabs. So make sure that you have installed JetTabs like I have over here before you go back to your filter page. And now we can finally find that new accordion, which is this one, the classic accordion. Just drag it under here. Just make sure that we only have one. And then we can select a template over here, which we have just created, which was the extra filters section. So now if you click on this, it will show the filter. Pretty cool. But as you can see right now, it has a white background. So what you can do is you can go to the style tab over here, then go to toggle, then set the background type to a color, doesn't really matter which one, and then drag this one over here. And now, as you can see, it has the filter that we want. The margin and padding, we're going to turn that off. The border type on solid and then again on 0. So we don't have that. Then inside of toggle control, set the position on the right. Make the text color white. Set the icon background color again on a color and then transparent. Do the same for the active mode. So background type, color, transparent. You can delete this by going to content, open this, then delete this text. You can just put this on none and then also this one on none. And now you can change the text to something like more filters, but there's still a lot of spacing. So in order to delete that main spacing, go to style, toggle control and turn off this padding over here. And also for the toggle content, turn off the padding so it's left aligned. And there's only something over here which I think we can change inside of our template because of course Elementor always adds a little bit of padding. So we can delete that as well, go back, and let's check our final result right now. Oh, this is the final website, not our website. This is our website. Let's just refresh this page. This is actually an old page. Okay. Over here it says more filters. And as you can see, it works. I actually need to add an icon. But let's just see if this works. Yes, it works. How cool is this? Now it only shows the houses that have 3 or 4 bathrooms. This still works. The remove filter still works. And now we can add more filters inside of here. I just realized that I forgot to explain how to make the blue background stop so the section will end over here. Like I have on the final website, as you can see, and it's sticky. So what you need for this is another plugin called JetTricks. And yes, I know Elementor Pro also has a sticky feature, but I couldn't make it work with that. Because with Elementor Pro, it just sticks at the top and it doesn't scroll inside of the side panel, which is what you want, of course. Otherwise you can't see all the content if there are too much filters. So once you've installed and activated JetTricks, make sure to refresh your page. And then we're going to use with an inner section. So just drag in an inner section, because with an inner section, you can make it stop. So you can make the blue background stop. Make sure you only have one column and just simply drag all of the elements that you have inside of your inner section. If this is too hard, because sometimes Elementor is just a little bit clunky with this, you can open the navigator like this, just keep it next to it. You can click over here and then select it and try to get them in over here and then rearrange them later. It's a little bit clunky, like I said, but that's just how things work now. I also haven't found a trick to make this easier, so what I often do is just drag it on top of the widget that's above it and then just rearrange them like this. Okay, I now have dragged everything inside of that intersection. Make sure to, of course, always delete your padding. So now we're gonna delete the color on our main column, the background color. And we're also gonna delete the padding over here. So bring that back to 0 and then delete it over here, because we are going to add a background color to our intersection. So go to the style over here and make sure to add your wanted color on the background. And then of course also make sure to add the padding that you want over here. And now it looks the same, but the difference is that it ends right here, which is what you want. So how to make it sticky is to go to that main column, then go to the advanced tab, and then you can see a new tab over here called JetTricks. Here it says sticky column. Make sure this one is on 50, this one is on 50, because that will create a little bit of space. Make sure it's not sticky on mobile, because that doesn't make any sense. Then click on update and let's see the final results. So I'm going to click on the eye, preview. Let's open the more filters. And as you can see, now it is sticky, which is what we want. And also for smaller screens like this, it will scroll inside of it as well, which is perfect, of course. So my design is not as pretty as the final, but those are just changes in styling. As you can see, a nice icon over here. There's a nice divider. The colors, the spacing is a little bit different, but the idea is the same. So I hope that you enjoyed this longer than expected tutorial from me. If you have any questions, leave them down below and we are trying to help each other. I cannot answer every comment anymore because I have so many videos, but of course I do my best. I also have a Facebook group, which I will also link below, that you can join if you have questions, because this is, as you can see, a little bit more complicated subject. What do you want me to add to this website to make it even more complex and cool? For now, I'm happy with this result and I hope that you enjoyed this more advanced tutorial. Again, all the videos for this playlist can be found over here on livefrompixels.com/playlist/dynamic-content, which you can easily access via the website or via the link in the description. Thank you for watching.